Everybody, welcome back to my channel, Made with Love. My name is Heather. This is part 2 of making my my Valentine gnomes. I'm just going to put the camera down so you can see. So I went ahead and I made the other one that goes with each of the two pairs of gnomes shoes. So there's my little female gnome. She's got the little bit of the bling. Yeah, sorry about that. My laptop was paused and it just started randomly playing again, so I just had to turn that off. Okay, so I said I got the shoes finished. So I've got the little girl. See, she's got the little lace. It looks like hearts, and I gave her some of this rose gold, kind of a little bit of bling on hers. So she's got the light blue with the glitter. I don't know if the glitter is showing up in the video. It's hard to tell. Now, as for any embellishments, I'm going to wait and see what I do for their hats. So I'll try to get their shoes to match their hat. So I haven't decided if I'm going to add anything. And then here's his. I know you can definitely see the glitter in those showing up. He's got the lace. He's got the little hearts in it. And then, so as the glue dries and hardens, I'll get some of those little extra strings taken off. There's his. So I was going to set those aside. And I said, so the socks I've chosen to use, I'm doing this nice soft pink for hers. And his is going to be this teal aqua color. Can't quite tell how well the color is actually showing up. My last one, when I made my gnomes for Christmas, I used the styrofoam tree. Little styrofoam trees for to stuff the stalks. What I'm going to do today, they're going to look more like cute little snowmen. These are these little things. I found these at one of the dollar stores. You get 4 in a pack. I don't have the pack. It's here in the craft room somewhere. Maybe it's been thrown out. But you get 4 in a pack. They're quite a good size. And they are for indoor snowball fights. And I thought these would make such cute snowmen, little gnomes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the socks over here so I can reach them a little easier. I'm just going to roll these out and try to get them to form like a flat spot for where the bottom glue stuck to everything. I need some more of my cutting mats. I'm just trying to get this to squish down so I get like a flat spot for where the bottom would be. And same with this, just trying to find ones that kind of got like make one a little bit bigger, one a little smaller, a little flat there. So they're kind of a little bit flat, so they'll kind of stack a little bit better. Something like that. And same with these ones. So these ones are the ones I was already working with. Well, I was testing this to see how they would work, so I've got to do the same to this one. You want to keep the round fluffiness, but you definitely want a flat. You kind of have to squish it down to get the more of a flat, and then you just kind of roll it up, kind of like you're making a bun. Just going to figure out where it's more flat. Just kind of squish it down. Kind of get this flatness to it. So the ones that are more flat will be the bottom, and the ones that I've made a little more round will be for the tops. And I already made sure that the one will always, trying to make the one a little bit bigger, so it'll be the boy, and the one squish it down, so it'll be the girl. So I'm just going to set those ones aside. So I guess we'll do the girl first. So I'm just going to find the sock, find the toe part of the sock, and where it's the flattest, just push that in. Kind of want to get the whole toe part of the sock to become her bottom of her dress. Just kind of push that in and just kind of squish it around. Like once it's in here, because I was already playing around with this a couple weeks ago, trying to figure this out, how to kind of fit it in like that, and then just put the other ball on top. When you play with it, you kind of get, you see, it kind of looks like it's going to be like a snowman. If I was going to do a snowman, it'd be like this. But you kind of just want to pull the sock out because these are these extra stretchy socks. You can actually pull the sock out so it's not, so the shape doesn't look quite so much like a snowman. It's okay because I'm not using the full sock anyways, because I'm going to be cutting, you know, like about half the sock off to make her hat. I'm just going to make some cute little smaller gnomes today. But I just want to use something a little bit different. Because she's starting to look more like a snowman. So it just takes some time just to kind of work with the sock and kind of just play around with it, trying to get the right shape of the body. So as you just kind of put the two together, just kind of squish them and flatten them. They should even out. You don't quite notice that quite so much. Like that. And I'm going to do the same to this one here. Same thing. Just find where I had the more flat spot. I guess it was this one. Same thing. You just find where the toe of the sock is and just put this in. And just put the other snowball in on top. Now I do want him to be taller than her, so I do want to kind of squish her down, and I want to kind of fluff him up. Again, you kind of have to squish them and kind of get them to kind of fit together so they don't quite give that snowman shape, although it might be cute if they look like snowmen. They would definitely be a different shape than my other ones I've made. Just gonna make sure there's a height difference. You can see, I don't know, it's hard to tell which angle the camera's at from where I am sitting, but you can definitely see a size difference. I'm just gonna squish him. Just gonna make him a little bit, if I can get a little taller, because see, like I've got his to the point where like there's the toe of the sock is right there, and hers, she is definitely much lower than the toe, or the heel of the sock would be. So I think that's where I'm going to keep it. So I'm just going to take this one, I'm going to grab the scissors, I'm just going to cut right below the heel of the toe, like that. So she's going to be that size. And because I want him so much taller, I want to try to see if I can see. He is still going to be below the toe, but maybe I'm just going to cut this one. Maybe I'll cut him right above the toe. And I'll see if I can get, no, it won't quite work. Let's see. I do need, I guess, I'm just going to cut right there. I guess he'll be kind of cut right through the heel of the toe. These scissors don't want to cut. Got this other pair I found. The only other pair of scissors I found today are my actual fabric scissors. I don't want to use them, but I did bring them out in case I have to. I figure socks is kind of like a fabric material anyways, so there's there's the boy and the girl, so there is a height difference. I still have my glue gun on, so I'm just gonna, I kind of like the idea of making them look more like snowmen now. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab my glue gun here. I'm just gonna put some glue at the top, some glue right at the top, and just bring the material in, over. I just wanted to find different ideas for making the gnome bodies, because I've seen lots of people using like the rice and beans. But just if you don't have access to like that type of stuff, how can you still make the gnomes, and what can you use to stuff the socks with? Because I don't really think it matters what you use. I just wanted to try different things. Like I had bought stuff to make snowmen for Christmas, and I never got around to doing it, but I had bought packs of from the dollar store, packs of different sizes of balls, like the little was it like the softballs or baseballs and golf balls and things, just the little plastic kids toy ones. So you get them in packs of like 2 to 4. And I thought, well, if you just grew different sizes of them, put them in a sock and see if you could kind of really make a snowman, which is kind of where I got the idea to use these to make a snowman to begin with. But and I thought, well, I'll see how this will work. You know, if it doesn't work, it's okay. You take it apart, reuse it, you know, you make a craft. Sometimes they don't always work. You don't always like the way finished product is. Now for him, because the way he's starting to see, I can't quite tell. The way the camera angles, it's making it look like his head is so much bigger than the bottom part of the body. I'm just wondering if that's just the camera angle, or the way I'm sitting here looking at it. So I'm just kind of tipping it upside down, looking at it, and I think it's pretty much the same. Could just be the angle that I'm looking at him, but so there's that one. I'll set him aside. I'm just going to glue the top of her together now. Grab another glue stick here. Just gluing top of her head down. Just gonna grab the scissors just so I don't burn my finger, because I've got a really big pop of glue. There. Okay, so there's the start of my 2 gnomes. See, there is a huge size difference. I don't know how much it's coming up on the camera, but I can see the difference in their heights. So I'm just going to grab their shoes just to see, like when they stand, just to see how they will stand on the shoes, making sure that the bottom is wide enough or flat enough across here to stand on the shoes. It's hard for me to see from the angle I'm at. Usually when I'm trying to do this, it's easier if I have them facing me while I'm trying to get them on the shoes, but I'm trying to see what it looks like from your point of view. So there's the 2 gnomes. That's how cute they will look when they've got their shoes on. Okay, so I'm just going to set all this aside and we'll work on the hats. So the hats are quite easy. So you can make them, like the gnomes I made, they're all behind me. I made 4 of them. The hats are made out of felt, and one of them is actually just a sock. It was didn't even cut the sock. This little one here, this sock wasn't even cut, or maybe I did cut a little bit. I think maybe it was cut a little, but this was actually just a baby sock. So I just took the little baby sock, cut it, just so I could get a little bit better shape that fit this one. So you can see this is made with the styrofoam cone. Okay, so I'm just gonna pause for a second because I can't reach, because I've got to reach across the camera to get to the felt. So just 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. It just took me a minute longer to reach the felt. I like felt, but you know, it picks up little dust bits of things. Just making sure there's no price tags yet. It's got price tags still on it. So I get my felt from Dollar Tree or Dollarama, and usually get like 2 square, you know, 2 sheets of it for, you know, about $1.25. It's about the cheapest place I can find it. So I'm gonna make the hat. So I'm just gonna take the piece of felt. I'm just gonna kind of like fold one side to the other side so you get this. And I'll get this shape like this. I like to have like a fold line so I kind of know where the glue will be going. So I want to kind of glue this together. So I'm going to put so the glue line will just go right across the top edge of this felt. About that size, I think. And just kind of press it together like that. So you get like this. So you get this shape. And I'm just making sure that this is just sets up for a minute before I do anything. I'm just going to set that aside. I'm just going to do the same thing to the pink one because I'm going to give her the pink hat. So again, if I just kind of line it up and I kind of get a crease, so I'll know kind of where I need to put the glue. So same thing, I'll just put a strip of glue right here, all the way down to about there, I think. And just fold it over. Just press it in place. Just give it a minute to set up, but try not to glue it to your table. Like I keep gluing everything to my mat, which is why I'm using this mat, but I gotta get a new one because it's got paint and glue on here and I can't seem to clean it. So we've got that. Now you can cut this off now, but I like to wait till I've turned it inside out. So you get like the glued edge will be inside. So it's always a little tricky to sometimes just try to flip this without ripping the glue apart. So go slowly. And then get stuck right where the point would be. It's always the hardest. Grab my long scissors here. Just slowly, don't want to press too hard, but just slowly see if you can get it to come as much inside out as possible. I think that's about as far as I'll be able to get that to come. That's also why I like to wait till I get it inside, flipped to the right side before I cut it off. It's just in case I mess up and I have to, you know, undo all the glue and re-glue it. There. And it also gives me a chance to see, I don't know if you can see, this gives a chance for me to see how do I want to cut it. As I will say, I definitely know this hat is definitely too big for her, too tall. So I will be making it shorter, but that's why I like to just wait till I get it the right size, and then I can kind of figure out, well, where her head would sit and how much of the hat would look good on her. I'll just see, I think for her, I think about here. So I'm going to cut, so I've got like the hat. So I'm going to cut right here. I'm going to cut straight across here. Scissors just don't want to cut today. These ones want to cut right now. So I get the hat. That. And I'll put that on her and see how that looks. See, that looks so much better. I'm just going to take where the seam is because I realized that I had my seam to the side. So when I cut, now when I have the seam to the back, I get a lot of extra stuff at the front. So I've got to get the seam in the right in the center back, and then I've got to cut that extra stuff off. If I would have laid it out properly, I wouldn't have had to make that many cuts, but that's okay. It's lay something wrong. It's like, I know last Easter, or was it 2 Easters ago, I was trying to make the Easter baskets, and I was trying to do the little dovetail on the ribbon, and however I laid out the ribbon, I could not, I kept cutting it the wrong way. So I didn't, instead of having a dovetail, it was like cut like reversed, and I kept cutting it that same way several times to the point where I no longer had any ends to the ribbon. So okay, so I'm going to put her hat on and see. I like that. That's a good size hat for her. I said, when they're like this, and you start to not really notice that she doesn't really look like a snowman now with the hat on. She's starting to really look like a gnome. So I'm going to set her aside, and now this one, same thing. I've got this hat, it's all dry. Same thing, I'm just going to pinch this down and just rotate it and flip it the right side. Drop the scissors here and just slowly make it into a point. That's, yeah. And I gotta figure out, okay, see with him, see where I want the hat to sit. This time I'm going to make sure that I actually take the seam and have it lay the seam out in the center back. That way I only have to make one cut, but I can tell there's a little bit of it still right there. I can probably get it to come through a little more. Yep. There, just a little more. He's a little more pointed on his hat. Lay the seam part flat in the center of the back. And now I'll go right across. And I know right where I want to cut his. Right there, that would be good. So I only have to cut once on his. There. Just pull out his hat and put it on. Oops. There's his hat. So I'm just going to set him aside. I'm going to set her aside, and I'm going to set her aside, not the hat. Okay, I'm going to do the embellishments on their hats. I think I'm going to do the same thing I did with their shoes, which I'm going to use that the ribbon lace. I'm just going to see. I think I'll do the exact same thing. So I'm just going to glue the ribbon across the bottom, just deciding if I want it to hang off. Just got to decide if I I like it where it's just, oh, I don't have enough of that ribbon to do. Let's see, do I have enough to do her hat? Let's see, just going to quickly see if I have enough to do her hat. Yes, I have enough to do her hat with this. So I'm going to do hers with the same. Now his, I don't have enough. Let's see, or do I want to change it and give them a different look? Maybe I will. Let's see. So I've got two different thicknesses of this lace trim. Just see, this one, this is the really thick one. I really want to tie something in so they're matching. Let's see. Got all these embellishments that I've shown before. And I don't really like that, not for these ones. I know, I've got this. I will use this to, oops, got some of this. This is one of these white boa feather things they're from the dress-up section of the dollar store. And then I've got this yarn here, and it's the Faux Fur Yarn. I got this at Dollarama. I paid $4 for this bundle. I've used this for lots of faux fur trim. And then, of course, for their beards, or for his beard, I've got this, which they sell this. This is from $1. I paid $3. They bring this out at Christmas time. So it's the, get the label off. So it's the Faux Fur Trim. It's kind of like, looks like what you put on, like you're making Christmas stockings. So it's that kind of a fur. That's what I'll be using to make his beard out of. So I've got that. So I think I'm going to put some of this thick feather boa around his hat. I'm just going to quickly measure, see how much of this I need. I'm just going to cut a little bit more than I need off, but just so much of it here. I'm going to get feathers flying everywhere now. Okay. Starting at the back of his hat. I'm going to put some glue down. And I'm just going to pinch that in place. I'm just going to go right around. Lots of glue. And just glue this around. This is a bad combination. Feathers and hot glue. Just got to grab another glue stick here. Gluing lots of things together today. I don't want to be glued together. Okay. Just gonna glue this together at the back. I really like the way this hat is looking, except this does not want to glue in place. What did I do? Okay, I'm going to put glue on the boa itself. last end part here and glue it down. I keep missing where I'm trying to glue because it's all feathery. There. I really like the way this hat looks. Let's see, here's my little gnome, and there's his hat. Now I don't even know if the shoes will even look right now. See, there's his little shoes. Yeah, I don't think the shoes are going to go with him. See, strings and glue things hanging off of everything. That's his shoes. So I'm going to have to add some feathery stuff to his shoes to make them go with it. Well, maybe once his beard is on. So I'm going to angle this up just a little bit so you can see him. See how cute he looks. I'm going to have to add some blue up here. So I'm just going to set him aside. I'm going to grab her and her hat. Now I think I'm going to do the same thing. I think I'm going to give her the exact same feather boa on her hat. I'm just going to see how much of this I need. About that much. I'm just going to be covered in feathers for the rest of the day. I'm just going to put a big blob of glue just as a starting point to put the boa in place. Just put big blobs of glue all the way around. Grab another glue stick here. Just going through the glue sticks today. I don't know. Some crafts you end up using a lot more glue than others. Same thing. I'm just going to end it by putting the glue on the boa itself, just because I can't quite see where I'm supposed to be gluing through all this. So there's her hat. Put her hat on her. See, I'm really liking them. You know, I may not even put those shoes on. I don't think they need the shoes. Let's see. These were the shoes I initially had made for my gnomes, but I think they're not quite right for these ones either. You know, I don't think every gnome needs shoes. I might just leave those ones aside and use those shoes and make different gnomes, but I'm really liking the way these guys are turning out. So I just got to figure out what type of embellishments I'm going to use on their hats. And I got to make her hair, and I got to make his beard, and I got to do their noses. So I will just going to set these aside, and then I'm just going to pause for a second here. I'm just going to clean up the feathers, and I'm just going to get my razor blade so I can cut the faux faux fur to make his beard. And I'm going to find the yarn that I used to make her braids, and I will be just right back in a couple of moments. Okay, sorry. I have to reach in front or past the camera here to reach certain things, so don't mean to keep pausing, but I'm going to start with making his beard. So I'm just going to bring him over here. So there he is. I'm just going to take his hat off just so I see how much space I have or how much I've got to work with. So he's got a face about like this. So here's this faux fur. So I think that is, see, it's the right size for him. That. Of course, you don't want to just cut a rectangle out, but I just gotta see how wide do I want his beard to be. I think about there. So I'm just gonna grab, let's see if these work. This faux fur, it works best if you cut from the back. So I'm just using this rotary cutter just so I can get the initial size of square I need to work with, or maybe this is more like a rectangle. Just so I get, when you use the cutting tools, you don't get that harsh chopped edge, so then every edge will always be a nice clean finished edge for when you start with. I'm just going to set that aside. So this is the size of his beard. So that's about the right length and width. It's nice to figure out, you know, the shape of it. So I'm just gonna, I've got the blade cover on. I'm just trying to just get an idea of where I'm gonna cut first. Because you kind of want the beard to be, you know, kind of tapered down. So if I just kind of just about put the cover off, just so I just kind of know where I want to kind of go, but just kind of get some kind of like some scoring lines here, just so I can kind of see where I want to cut and kind of a shape that I want him kind of make him have for his beard. And then I can just I don't know if that's going to quite work, but I've got these ones here, so maybe I'll use this one, because then I can go a little bit slower and just kind of want to angle it down so his beard kind of tapers. See, so it's going to start to kind of taper down a little bit. Like that. You can see I gotta kind of fix this because more like that. And then same with on this side. Same thing. Just gonna kind of slowly taper it down. Like that, so it's kind of slowly tapered. Now I've got a, if I pull it from this side, you can see this is the back side. It's easier to see. See, this is nice tapered. This side here, it got caught. So I got this little more jagged edge right there. So I'm just gonna take it and just gonna soften that sharp edge, just kind of trim that sharp point off here. There, so then it's more centered. And from the front view, looks like that. Just gonna take the scissors, just gonna snip this little edge here just off because it's just. Try not to use the scissors, but it had this funny little edge where it looked like it was from in the factory, where it's kind of like felt like it was burned, like the or however they finish the edges. It's like, maybe they, I don't know, just had a funny chunk. It's kind of like, it must have been burned. It feels like the melted plasticky fabric, so I just wanted to trim that off because these were having trouble going through that. I'm just going to fold the beard in half just so I can see how closely both sides are to each other. So that's, you know, they're not perfectly identical, but you can see that the does have a, you know, pretty good side, pretty even to it. So if I fold it the right sides together, and you can see where the cut edge is on both the sides. They've got the same size to them, so it's a pretty even beard. Pull it back this way. As you can see, it's a good size. Now we want to have where his nose would be. So what I like to do, this is where I do actually use the scissors, is I just fold it the right sides together, so you kind of get the top part here. And right in the center, I'm just going to take the scissors. I'm not cutting through a lot. I'm just going to take the scissors. I'm not sure where the camera is. Okay. Right here, there's this little point right here. I'm just taking the scissors. I'm just going to barely cut just a little thing off. I'll show, like, this is what I cut off, was just this tiny little thing. Just a little, when you open it, you can barely notice it, but it gives this little tiny, let's see, little tiny nick. So when I go to put it up around where the nose would be, it has some movement there, or some to go around the bead. So it just kind of gives me an idea of where the center is. Now I'm going to have to cut it when I figure out which bead I'm going to use, so I know how big the nose is. So that's my next thing. Is I've got this tub of these beads, wooden beads that I bought. These ones are from Dollarama. I paid $4 for this tub, and okay, there are lots of different, you know, a couple different colors to them, tones to them, shapes. Like some of them are more decorative, some are very square, but they're like, you know, just wooden beads, different colors. I do like this one here, like this shape. We've got the darker, a little bit bigger one. I gotta decide. Obviously for the gnomes, I'm not going to be using the decorative ones, or not for these ones, or the very square beads. Not for noses. No, I kind of liked this size here. I don't know if I want to quite go that dark. I probably want to stick with the light one. Yeah, I'll stick with the light one at that size. I'm going to see if I can find a cute smaller nose for the female gnomes, because I always give them the smaller noses. So there's my two noses. Put this aside so you can see, like, I kind of cut that. You can see that the little thing I cut, its nose is definitely bigger than that. But that was just kind of told me right where the center is. So now right where that will be, I'm just going to take my craft knife. Let's see, where's my camera here? I got to figure out how to zoom in on this. Not quite sure how to do that. I'm just going to place that right. I'm just going to place this on my cutting mat. I'm just going to place the bead just right in front. I'm just going to see, where is it, so you can see. Let's see, well, maybe if I do it this way. There's the bead. I'm just going to put this right in front of it so I know how wide. I'm just going to make this just a little bit wider. Just making this just a little bit wider, as wide as the bead is. I've got it kind of marked out now. Just gonna see, it's this top edge here. It's the finished edge from the factory. Just snip that off. It's like really like melted plastic. It's kind of how it feels when I'm trying to cut through it. So I'm just using the scissors just so I can do that. But see, when I put the nose on, you can see that it's got some give to it. So when I go to put it on, so his nose will be there, and the beard can just kind of wrap around under the nose, kind of. That's all I want, is just a little bit of a cutout. It just makes it just that much easier to get it on. Make sure it's the same. Okay, so of course my next step now will be to grab my little male gnome right here, and I'm just gonna glue his nose and beard on. But first I gotta figure out where the beard will go, because I do like to having them where their beards actually touch the ground a bit. Right there, so then his nose will go right there. So I'm going to glue his nose on first. Still feathers everywhere. Probably gonna have feathers in this craft room all month now. So where did I say I was gonna have it? Just gotta line this back up. Just gonna put a little dab of glue right there. That's where I want his nose to be glued to. That's okay if I got glue on the beard part, because I'll be gluing that next. I'm just going to put a little bit of the glue on the bead itself and just glue his nose right on. Then I'm going to take the beard. I'm just going to move the camera back just a little bit so you can see. I'm just going to put a little strip of glue across the top part of the beard. Just going to make sure I can get this tucked up right beside the nose. So that also helps hide the little holes that the wooden beads have, but it makes it just so much easier to take the time to actually cut that little chunk out. So like when their beards kind of get stuck under them when you're trying to line them up. And then just gonna, I have one gnome. What I did was, where is he? All gonna fall on me. So this little gnome. What I did, see, I've got his. I'll move this. I've got his beard on and his nose, but I didn't have any wooden ones. I can only find the plastic beads, so it's this bright orange colored. So I took some of the boa and kind of gave him like this little funny mustache thing with his beard. Put it back there. But this guy I'm not going to do. I'm just going to leave it like that. He looks so cute. And there's his hat. And there's my little gnome guy. Really like the way he turned out. And now I got to do the girl gnome. Now for the girl gnome, I don't give them beards. I do braids or something. So I'm just going to figure out where her nose would be. I'm just going to give her this cute little tiny nose. I'm just going to probably about here, here. I'm just going to glue her nose on first. I'm just going to put her nose up a little higher than. I'm just going to put her hat on like that. I can't see her nose. It's hard to see because I can't see what I'm doing because it's all like that. I will fix that in a second. Now what I was going to do with her, I'm just going to take her hat off for 1 second just so I can do this. Where did I put them? I got these tiny little clothespins, they're called. Tiny little bag of these clothespins. I thought it'd be so cute just to, for her, just to give her this little clothespin, just put it right here. And I'm going to use that to clip a little, like, so it looks like she's holding something. That's what my plan was. But I don't think it's going to work on her. Her body is just too soft. So I also have the larger little craft clothespins too. But again, I don't quite think it's going to work the way I had thought. Not with her body being as soft as it is. I'm going to set that as, oh, excuse me. I'm just going to set that aside for now. I'm just going to put her hat on just so you can see. She can barely see her nose. I think it's so cute when you give the girl gnomes these tiny little noses you can barely see. You can kind of see it through the feathers there. And then I'm going to give her the ponytails or pigtails or whatever. So I'm just going to grab this Faux Fur Yarn. This is if you want to like knit with this stuff. I don't know. Glue is stuck everywhere. But I had the one where I actually braided, but I kind of like the way her hat is all fluffy. I don't think I'm going to braid it. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to see how long do I want her hair. It doesn't need it that long. Just gonna give her some hair. Just hangs there. It's going to go right across here and come down. Level with her body. Just kind of level with her body right there. There, that will be her hair. So I'm just gonna glue gun right here. I'm just gonna glue it on. Put some glue right here. Find the center again right here. Just gonna glue her hair right on like that. Pull it forward. And put her hat back on. Like that. I'm just going to glue her hair. I'm just going to glue it completely down so it won't move. Just going to kind of glue it so it kind of comes down in front of her. Just going to move this so I can see what I'm doing. I just want to glue some of that down so it kind of just goes straight down that. And put her hat back on. Can't see her nose. I may have to give her a bigger nose. And there's her hair. And I'm going to find some cute little ribbon. So I'm going to put some ribbon in her hair. And as soon as I get them both set up, I'll be back and show them displayed. Okay, so what I did with her is I kind of gave her a little trim. I thought the hair was just a little too long there. And I took some of my bling wrap here and I used the pinkish one, or what do you want to call that, to kind of make it look like she got like little barrettes holding her hair back. And I glued their hats down right where I wanted them. So I just put a little blob of glue in the front and one little blob of glue in the back. So I'm just kind of figuring out how I want to finish off their hats because they're really cute. But these are supposed to be for Valentine's. We're kind of getting into more spring anyways, but still want to do more Valentine-y. So I'm just trying to figure out where some of my Valentine stickers and things were. But what I've decided for them is I've got these flowers here. These ones, they're called the floral embellishments. They're from the bridal section. So there's some, so 3 of them are like a satin, and then 3 of them are like the tulle with the little rhinestones. So I think I'm going to give her the little pink ones. And then as for him, I'm going to give him the little blue ones. I'm going to use the ones in the tulle. So I'm just going to set her aside. Whoops. I'll just open these so I can see what they look like. So I decided I'm going to give her the pink one, and then he said they also had it in the white and the ivory or off-white color as well. I'm going to give them a couple of these, so they look kind of cute. I'm going to give him, I think I'll do them in the tulle one because it just looks cute. I'm just going to give them, oops, one each. And I also have the tassels, so I think it would be kind of cute. So I got white tassel and I've got the pink tassels. So I think I'm going to give her a little pink tassel and I'm going to give him the little white tassel. I'm going to find the other one that's just a little bit, there, this one here. It's not tangled in other things. So I'm going to give them each a little tassel and a little feather or flower. So I'm just going to glue the flower onto the tassel right like that, and then glue that on top of each of their hats. I'm just going to angle the camera back down so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to take my hot glue gun, just going to put a little bit of glue in the center of that. I'm just going to glue it right on to the tassel like that. And same with her, just gonna put a blob of glue, just glue that right onto the tassel like that. Just gonna grab her here, just see, oops. Gluing everything to the table still. So I'm just gonna put that right, just gonna angle this up just a little bit so you can see the top of her hat. I'm just gonna glue it right to the top of her hat, right up here. Glue is on my finger still, and so are all those feathers. Put a blob of glue on there. I'm just going to glue it right to the top of the hat, right like that. And I'm just going to grab him and do the exact same thing. So here's the top of his hat. Set him down because they want to lay down. Put glue on the top of the tassel, and right at the very top center of his hat, same thing. So there's their hats, and there's my gnome, same thing. I did the same thing with him. I put one blob of glue right here just above his nose and one blob of glue at the back so their hats kind of stay on. So there's my little gnomes I made. So I'm just going to go put these in on my fireplace mantle and display them, and I will be right back as soon as I do that. Okay, so there's my little gnomes. They're sitting on my mantle. I said I might end up either giving her a bigger nose, or I might just trim a few of these feathers that are there. Maybe just fluff them up a little bit. Maybe if I just fluff up the hats a little bit, you can see their noses a little bit better. But there's my little gnomes. They look so cute. So you can use anything to stuff the gnomes with. Like I said, I use those indoor snowballs and the soft socks. So they're just so cute sitting on my fireplace mantle. So I just want to say to everybody, thank you for watching this. I know it's like a two-part for these gnomes. I will be making more gnomes in the following couple of weeks here. I really enjoy making my gnomes. And as for the shoes I made in the part 1, I guess I will have to make gnomes with those colors to go with them. Thank you to everybody who's watching and subscribing, and I'll see you in my next video. Okay, thank you.